Good morning and welcome back to my channel. It's just before 9 AM on Wednesday the 11th of December. 2 weeks to Christmas Day. Right, another good week that I've enjoyed the food and I'm grateful for this week. I want to start this morning with a wee bit of housekeeping. A couple of things that came up in comments. Somebody very nicely put in my comments last week that they liked the colour, the green in my kitchen. And I just wanted to say it's called Kiwi Crush, if anybody's interested. And I think I love it, but of course I can't see it. But everybody who's come in so far has said how much they liked it. My decorator has said, that's lovely, you can see it from outer space, which made me laugh. The other bit is Irene, a lovely lady who's been with us for ages, from Scotland. She used to be called Irene Scotland, and I thought it was because she was Irene from Scotland, but no, whole story attached to that. Hi Irene. Irene asked, because she was watching my last video, or my previous video, on her telephone, her mobile phone, what was the thing at the side of me? Well, there's a little story behind the thing at the side of me. It's called a cathedral geode, and it's a huge rock which has been split in half, and inside the rock is amethyst. So what you see, the sort of purpley lavender crystals, are all amethyst. Now, the little story behind this, and I love amethyst. It's really my choice of gem or stone. The story behind it is that when Joe and I bought it back in August, we went to a place in Stapleford, which is near Nottingham, and we were looking at all the geodes, and this was the one that I'd already decided I liked the week before. I took Joe back to look at it and said, you know, which one would you choose? And this was the one he chose. So we bought it. Now, this geode weighs 33 kilograms, which is 5 stone and 3 pounds, more or less. And I think when I was thinking about the weight I wanted to lose from where I had gone right back up to 15 stone 10, 5 stone 3 pound would take me to 10 stone 7. And that kind of felt, yeah, that's an okay place to be aiming for. Not for a target, I don't know what my target is ever going to be, if anything. But 10 stone 7, that, knowing where I've been in the past, knowing what I felt like and what I looked like at 10 stone 7, it feels a reasonably healthy weight for me. I don't think it's my perfect BMI or anything, but I cannot lift that stone. Joe had to carry it to the car and carry it into the house and everything, but I cannot shift it, I can't lift it. And I'm thinking to myself, good Lord, if that's the amount of weight you think you would like to lose to get you back to there or thereabouts, and you're carting that around at the moment, Jane. I was thinking this morning, I've already lost 2 stone 4.5 pounds in the 29 weeks I've been back on track. And so I'm kind of almost halfway there. I'm probably at about 43% of what I wanted to lose, somewhere around there. And I think to myself, how do we do it? How do we carry around all this surplus and expect to feel good? Expect to be able to run up a flight of stairs, expect to be able to walk 5 kilometres, expect to be able to do our housework without getting out of breath. When I started my journey at 22 stone, even looking at where I am today, at 13 stone 5.5, I think, I'm a hell of a long way from where I started. No wonder I felt awful. No wonder I was always tired. I don't think we give ourselves credit. You know, when we say, oh, I'm half a stone down, I've got my first award at Slimming World. You know, put 7 tins of tomatoes into a carrier bag and think about strapping that to your back. Even £7 is an achievement. It's a weight loss that should make a difference. And as we go on to get more and more awards, you know, coming down £7 at a time, our body acclimates itself to that weight loss. But at the end of the day, you know, those £7, those half stones, add up to stones. And I think, what am I down at the moment? 8.5 stone? I think at my biggest loss, I would have been down like 13 plus. But that 8.5 stone, if somebody sat it on my lap today or strapped it to my back today, I know I couldn't carry it. But I used to do that to myself, day after day after day, and wonder why I felt like shit. Anyway, that's the story behind the geode, the 5 stone, 3 pound geode. When I bought that geode, it was the 21st of August, and it coincided with the day that I decided I'd watched a video on YouTube, a finance video, and it was about saving. And there was lots of little games that you could play, little savings games, you know, like put aside every £2 coin you get. Well, we'd been doing that for about 3 years. Then this other game came up, and it was like pick a number and save that amount every day. So you could start from 50p, you could start from 20p if you wanted to, but you could start from 50p, you could start from £1. If you save £1 every day for a year, you're going to have £365. Well, at that time, we were regular users every day of the week of Costa or Starbucks. We'd fit it in somewhere if Joe had time. Well, we'd make time. It didn't matter whether it was early in the morning, midday, afternoon. We'd find time to go and have a Costa or a Starbucks. And we were spending somewhere between £7 and £8.50 a day on coffee. So it coincided that the day we picked up that, we left the place where we bought it, and we went to Castle Marina in Nottingham, and we went to Starbucks and we had a coffee. And it came to like £8.50 or something. And I said to Joe, this is getting silly, isn't it? We can afford to do this, but is it the best thing to do with our money? So on that day I said to Joe, what I'm going to do, instead of having coffee every day, we'll have coffee when we really want one, which we still do, but I'll put away £7 every day, which is the minimum amount I would have spent on having a coffee out every day. So I'm a great one for tracking and counting. I love numbers. I noticed that 2 days ago I hit day 111, which means from the 21st of August this year until the 9th of December this year, I have put away £777, which is what I would have spent as a minimum on coffee. I've decided to commit to doing it for a year. At the end of the year, I should have £2,555. And you know what? Because I would have spent it on coffee every day, because I was in the habit of doing that and have been for 3 or 4 years, I'm not even missing that £7 a day. It would have disappeared out of my bank account anyway. And I'm a great one for complaining. I drink coffee and I get indigestion. So I've turned into much more of a tea drinker at home. And I'm enjoying it. And Yorkshire tea bags are not nearly as expensive as Costa or Starbucks coffee. We still have a coffee after group on a Tuesday. We still maybe have maybe one or even 2 other days. If we go for a long walk, we might walk to the railway station in Nottingham. I'll have a single espresso, Joe will have a double espresso, and we either catch the tram back, catch the bus back, or a couple of times we have been even known to walk back. And I love it. Because from somebody who was moaning like hell all the way through lockdown and up to about 6 weeks ago, I think I need a hip replacement. Oh my God, my hip hurts. And if I'm standing for any length of time, like in a queue in a shop or something like that, my hip really hurts and it goes down into my knee. But touching wood, for the last 2 weeks or so, I'm managing it a lot better. And I think that is because I'm actually walking and getting the hip moving, but I think a bigger part of it is that I've shed 2 stone 4.5 pounds, which means there's a lot less pressure on this hip and this knee than there was. I'm enjoying feeling better in my clothes. I'm wearing a size 16 top today and 14 bottoms, and I know with these bottoms, I know myself I could get into a 12. I don't want to. I'd rather they were baggy and comfortable. But that feels like such a blinking long way from where I was back in May. And I'm still not losing massive amounts of weight every week. I don't want to. I've told you, £0.5 a week, that's what I'm, I won't say praying for, but I don't pray for it. I work the plan for it. Prayer's not involved. God only does for me what I can't do for myself. I really, really believe that. I am loving the food on this plan. I am eating plenty, lots on this plan. And again, this week, popping into group, brilliant group, really enjoyed it, all talking about Christmas and what we were going to do to enjoy it without going mental. I stood on the scales and lost £1. That's perfect. I said to Joe before I went in there when he dropped me off, £0.5. If I can lose £0.5 eating the way I'm eating, I'm just happy. I am happy with what's happening. Anyway, I got on the scales and the lovely Romy said to me, £1 off. I'm grateful to this plan for that, because this plan gives me the boundaries that I need. I think life is going to be harder in a lot of ways, should I say, in 2025. We've got things to face we've never faced before, like increasing prices and the pressure that brings for most people. I had an email this morning from my local bus company to say that we're joining the scheme. The government have capped bus fares and we're joining the scheme. So that's Nottingham City Transport. Now, that's great that they're joining the scheme, and that we have got one of the best bus companies in the country. They win a lot of awards. We've got electric buses and things, and it's fabulous. But the thing that struck me when they said we're joining the scheme is that the government have capped bus fare at £3 per journey. It's currently capped at £2 per journey. So from the 1st of January, it's going to be £3 or £5.30, I think, for a daily return. That is something that I think we're accepting too easily, a 50% increase, and they make it sound like nothing. Now, I'm aware that when we go shopping, food prices are still on the up and up, and yet the government are conning us that, inflation's low. Inflation's really low. Well, it's not, because they're not reaching the figures that they're promising us. But none of this affects working our plan, because I firmly believe you can spend as little or as much as you want to on this plan. I know people who work this plan on quite a tight budget and they work it wisely. I know people who work this plan and have fabulous lifestyles and eat out 3 or 4 times a week, and they work it wisely, and they still come into group or into their group with a weight loss. It's all down to us. So my working of this plan is down to me and the choices I make, and whether or not I'm committed and whether or not I'm consistent. I can choose how much to spend to work this plan. I can shop in any of the supermarkets, and I actually quite like Lidl. I like Sainsbury's. But I can choose where to buy my food. I can be wise. I can choose to buy frozen veg rather than fresh, because it's a better buy. What I don't want to get into doing is blaming external things. Saying, this plan is getting really hard because the price of everything's going up. Well, that's life, isn't it? That's what we've got to face in 2025. Everything is going up, but the thing I have to remember is this plan doesn't change. It's consistent. I can depend on it. It's not going to challenge me in any new way. I think we'll all get new books at the beginning of January, because we do, don't we, every year? We get a new pack. But that pack is not going to be very different from the pack that I got when I rejoined in May. This plan is very little different from the way I started working it when I joined Naomi's group back in 2015. I can depend on it. It gives me boundaries. It keeps me safe if I commit to being consistent. Food prices are rising. Be wise about what you buy. Don't maybe buy as much expensive meat. I would be more inclined these days to buy things like minced turkey and chicken and stuff like that, but I'm not a great big meat eater really. The one thing I have to be aware of, and this may come up more in the new pack, is are sins rising? Because there are things out there that you need to keep your eye on. I mean, I remember, I think I said it a few weeks ago in my video, the stewed steak in Marks and Spencer's that was all in gravy, that was always free. It was a great full thing you could fall back on, a fail-safe thing you could fall back on. It was free, so you could do potatoes or chips with it, you could do veg with it, you got a free meal. It's now 5 sins. Did they change the recipe? Or did Slimming World just get with the programme and recognise that most gravy is not free? Yeah, so don't stress yourself out with the plan. If you want to work it in a simple fashion, work it in a simple fashion. If you want to work it in an extravagant fashion, work it in an extravagant fashion. Only you are responsible for that. Only I am responsible for the way I work the plan. I mean, some people might find me a bit over the top. They might go like, oh God, she's so perfect. Well, I'm not. I'm doing what works for me. I'm not telling anybody else to do it the way I do it. It doesn't affect my weight up or down, how you work the plan. But I found joy in this plan, and I would love other people to find it, working it in a way that suits them. So yeah, pound off this week. That makes me 32.5 pounds down in 29 weeks. I'm really, really happy with that. I'm really comfortable with it. I'm really grateful for it. And yeah, I am Slimming World through and through. If you have a problem with that, go watch a Weight Watcher. You know? Because I know I'm not for everybody, but I have for me. And I'm the only person who can change my life. I was watching an old video earlier this morning. Does anybody remember, was he the hairy slimmer? Andy Neville? Lovely man, lovely, lovely man. And if anybody knows him, or Andy, if you're still around, get in touch, because lovely guy. Married to Lisa, a couple of kids. But Andy, the last time I remember seeing Andy was around SlimCon. That would have probably been 2017, 18. And I always remember Andy saying something that his friend had said to him. Everybody's got one. And Andy said, what's that? And he said, an arsehole. And it's the same with opinions. Everybody's got one. Their opinion of you or their opinion of me doesn't matter. What matters is your belief in this plan, your faith in yourself, and your desire, your want, your need, your why. Why are you doing this? And if you've got a strong enough why, when those temptations rise up and you see that plate of mince pies or somebody's throwing around Quality Street or whatever, do you want that more than you want health, weight loss, joy? It's all a balancing game. If you do want that, if you want the mince pie more than you want the weight loss, eat the mince pie. It's not a crime. But if you want the weight loss, get your books out at some point when you're chilled out over Christmas, have a good read, see what there is in there that actually speaks to you, underline it, make choices, and go for it. Because 2025, it might be that the only thing that's coming down is us and our weight. So just some food for thought there, basically. You are your future. Don't let anybody take it away from you. Everybody has opinions. Some of your friends may say, oh God, not again. You're joining Slimming World again. If you've got friends who react like that, don't tell them. It's nobody's business but yours. If you want to go to a Slimming World group on a Monday morning, a Wednesday night, a Friday afternoon, just do it. You don't have to broadcast it. And then wait a few weeks until somebody says to you, you're looking good. What are you doing? And you just say, oh, just living. Nobody should judge us because we choose to go to Slimming World. We don't need to broadcast it if we don't want to. I mean, I'm quite open about it because I come on here and I talk about it. But most of my friends don't know I go to Slimming World. I don't know if any of my friends watch these videos. I've never kept them secret. I mean, I'm up front because the title of the channel is my name. But it's my business. It's my future, it's my health, it's my life. And it's my opinion. Anybody else's opinions of what I'm doing counts for nothing. I'm not at the stage in my life where I need to be a people pleaser anymore. Been there, done an awful lot of that. But today, I feel a freedom. Not just because of Slimming World, I think a lot of it is down to age, but I feel a freedom that I never had before. And yeah, I'm on here talking about it because it is changing my life again. I am getting back to the way I used to be when I was comfortable in my own skin. Okay, that's me for this week. But a pound off and looking forward to next week. Have a good one, everybody. Cheers.